What if I told you the liberation you were promised is actually a meticulously engineered psychological cage designed to keep you sedated, solitary, and biologically obsolete? They claimed the future was female, but examine this chart. This isn't progress, this is a casualty list. I'm going to expose the mechanism behind the greatest social psyop in human history, and I'm going to hand you the only weapon capable of dismantling it. Take a hard look at this document. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the establishment is terrified of a woman who simply knows how to bake bread and pray. This isn't just about dating, it's about survival. The narrative is seductive, isn't it? The official story, pumped into your cerebral cortex by Netflix, Vogue, and the HR department, frames you as an independent economic unit. They insist traditional values are chains, biology is a social construct, and your career is your only legacy. But here's the smoking gun they are desperately trying to hide under the rug of pop culture. Scrutinize the data from the Financial Times and Gallup. We are witnessing the great gender divergence. Young men are shifting sharply toward order, tradition, and biological reality, while young women are being engineered to sprint in the opposite direction. Do you see the trap? This isn't accidental. It's a market manipulation. By radicalizing females against the very values that males are now embracing, the architects of this culture have created a supply and demand crisis. They have made a compatible partner mathematically impossible to find for the modern, liberal feminist. This is where their facade cracks. If the system actually cared about your well-being, why does the General Social Survey reveal that female happiness has been in a free-fall decline since the 1970s, inversely correlated with their so-called freedom? The true term for this operation isn't feminism. That's the brand name. The internal designation is the Atomization Protocol. If you shatter the family unit, you create a vacuum. And do you know what fills that void? Consumption. A cohesive home relies on its members. A lonely, anxious individual relies on the state, the corporation, and the algorithm. They don't want you to have a husband, they want you to have a subscription model. Morgan Stanley released a forecast predicting that 45% of prime working-age women will be single and childless by 2030. To them, that's not a tragedy. That is a growth sector. You are not a human soul to them. You are a revenue stream fueled by your own isolation. But that's just the surface. The economics of loneliness is merely the symptom. What I'm about to reveal ties this directly to the collapse of the Roman Empire and the mouse utopia experiments of the 1960s. You won't believe the connections between your dating app struggles and the fall of civilizations. First, hit the like button if you suspect the news lies to you every day. The algorithm hates this information, and your click is the only way to breach the containment wall. Let's pivot to the men. While women are instructed to smash the patriarchy, guys are realizing that the modern world is hostile to them. They are retreating into the manosphere, rejecting modern dating norms, and hunting for something that barely exists anymore: peace, loyalty, and tradition. This creates a massive arbitrage opportunity, a strategic imbalance. In a market flooded with blue-haired activists and corporate climbers, a woman who embraces femininity, faith, and family becomes the ultimate scarce asset. You become the diamond in a pile of coal. Let's strip the gears of this machine. How did they convince an entire generation to act against their own self-interest? It requires a three-pronged attack. Observe the pattern. They did it with the food supply, replacing nutrients with high-fructose corn syrup to ensure sickness. They did it with the money supply, replacing gold with fiat currency to ensure poverty. And now, they're doing it with human connection, replacing commitment with situationships to ensure emptiness. The thread tying them all together is artificial scarcity. They have gamified your biology. Dating apps are not engineered to find you a spouse, they are coded to keep you swiping. If you find a match, they lose a customer. But the conspiracy goes deeper than just an interface. It goes to the very definition of value. Modern culture insists that your worth is determined by your GDP output, your job title, your hustle. But to the high-value conservative man, the one who builds, protects, and provides, your corporate status is irrelevant. This is the great deception. You are spending your prime fertility years building a resume for a corporation that will replace you within 2 weeks of your funeral, while neglecting the resume for the one role that actually leaves a legacy: wife and mother. In the 1960s, ethologist John B. Calhoun created Universe 25, a rodent paradise with unlimited food and no predators. The result? The beautiful ones. Mice that stopped breeding, obsessed over their appearance, and withdrew from society. The population collapsed. Does that sound familiar? We are living inside that experiment right now. The woke agenda is simply the behavioral sink of a society that has lost its struggle for survival. And the cure isn't a new government policy, it's rebellion through tradition. By rejecting the narrative, you become dangerous. When you prioritize faith, you answer to a higher power than the state. When you prioritize family, you build a support network the system cannot break. When you cultivate morals, you become immune to their propaganda. The statistics are undeniable. The Pew Research Center consistently finds that religious conservative women report higher levels of marital satisfaction and overall joy than their secular liberal counterparts. The establishment buries this data because it destroys their business model. They want you to believe that submission is weakness, but in a world of chaos, backing a strong man who backs you is the ultimate power move. It is a strategic alliance. It is a fortress. Now we have to confront the cost of staying asleep, because if you don't wake up, the future is already written for you. The biological clock is not a tool of the patriarchy. It is a reality of nature. The woke narrative lies to you about your window of opportunity. They claim 35 is the new 25. It isn't. Every year you spend chasing hot girl summer, or the corner office is a year you incinerate from your most valuable asset. The warning is stark. The end game of the independent woman story is a state-run facility where the only hand holding yours is a paid orderly. But you can flip the board. You can choose the red pill. This isn't about going back to the 1950s. It's about taking the best of the past to survive the future. You want to be a rebel? You want to really stick it to the system? Don't dye your hair blue. Get married. Have children. Raise them to believe in God and country. That is the only revolution that matters. The system wants you single so they can control you. The rebellion starts when you build a home they can't penetrate. If you're ready to exit the matrix, subscribe and join the resistance. Wake up.